The engine is starting up.
For launch. GC, go. Guidance, go. Fido, go. Prop, go. GNC, go. Max, go. Eagle, go. Ecom,
go. Pending final steps to cabin link check.
3, 2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? Can you give us a sign?
Welcome to the R.I.F. Nation Network, the RNN, putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you can need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural. From comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight is going to be a very unique and special night. We have the Conspiracy Part 3 on Clockworks. But as you see the gentleman in front of you, this has been a long 2 weeks for us all. We've lost 4 icons of 4 generations that have done and meant something to every generation. Ozzy Osbourne, the grandfather of metal. Unfortunately, we lost him, but he knew it was coming. Hulk Hogan, the immortal Hulk Hogan, a man who changed an industry, a man who gave so many jobs and opportunities and created a multi-billion-dollar business and created and entertainment unlike any other. Malcolm Jamal Warner. To many of you, he was a generation change. For many of us, he was a generation change. Showing equality, sportsmanship, keenship toward all of his fellow men. He changed our generation, breaking barriers of racism, color, the ability to be moved forward and not held behind. And lastly, Chuck McGowan. Many of you are not going to know who Chuck is unless you heard his song. His songs, his written assemblies. Many of you remember Tijuana Brass, Herb Albert. But you thought it was Herb Albert the whole time. It was actually Chuck. Go back and listen to some of his music. He broke jazz into the modern top 40. So tonight, we dedicate this show to our 4 icons. And we thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoy the show. Speaking of which, it's showtime, folks. Good evening, everybody. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, everyone.
How is everybody? You know what? We got to get this in here. I noticed something that wasn't going, so we got to get that trailer rolling.
There we go.
Yeah.
Something looked strange.
Yeah, something was a little kiltered, a little off. Well, I know we're not going to have a lot of people tonight, which is okay. We understand that. There is a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot of events, and congratulations to all those event people, producers, and sponsors who had a successful event this weekend. I chose to stay home, spend some time with friends, which I haven't done in forever. Necessary. That's much necessary.
It was very necessary. And, we're getting ready for change for the next 3 weeks. So in that, I was like, I got to spend some time with my crew. So I did that. I could have gone to any of these events.
Right.
I chose not to. And speaking on that, I'm going to let you, Rhonda, I'm going to let you speak on the Battlefield Bash and how it went down. And
I mean, I'm assuming the rest of the weekend was just as good as yesterday is. I was not there the whole weekend. I opted to go up yesterday, spend the day, and then drive, head right on back. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was great I got to actually meet some people in person that Ryan and I had on our podcast.
Nice.
See friends from all over that we've made and we've ever met, met them different locations.
Mm-hmm.
Spend time with FPRI, of course, my home team. And it was, I tell you what, that is an event that is overwhelming.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Well,
it's just an overwhelming amount of energy. And I don't say that in a negative way. I mean, it's just everybody's excited and happy to see each other. So there's this really high vibe. And then you put all these spiritual people together as well. Yeah. And, it's loud and they're pumping music. And I walked in and it felt like, wow.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. They had some really cool vendors there.
Pam and her husband really put in the effort along with their team to get this event off the ground. It's been going for so long now, and
it's huge.
Really proud of them.
It seems like it gets bigger every year. There were, it was good. I only got to sit in on 2 lectures, which, John Zaffis, of course, did one. So I always sit in on his lectures because I could literally listen to that man talk for hours and not get bored. And then we had Larry Eisler. Ryan and I had him on our show, and he did a speech. So I went and listened to him just to share some support. And it was really good. Then I got a much needed surprise. I did not know Nor did she know she was going to be there, but
Oh,
Cindy Kazel was there.
really?
Yeah, and for those
Very
of you that
nice.
don't know, Cindy's on paranormal shows. She's a medium. She goes to around the country and does gallery readings, and she also was one of my first mentors and teachers.
Hmm.
Um, and it was just funny. She said, "Gosh, that was so long ago," and I was like, "I know." She's like, "What?" Like, we were even talking about the dog she had back then that she'd brought to Virginia. So it was good to see her. And it was funny. So much time has passed. We're talking. I don't know. I honestly don't remember if my first class with her was in 2017 or 2018. I
Okay.
really don't remember. It's somewhere between. I took 2 week-long intensive classes with her in person between 2016 and 2019. I don't exactly remember when, but I walked up to her boot table thinking, there is no way after all this time, all these years, and so much has happened in my life, like definitely. So she wasn't even in the paranormal when I took classes from her. So I walked up to her table and I said, I know you don't remember who I am. And she said, I do remember who you are. I don't know where, but I remember you. And I told her, and she said, "Oh my gosh." She's like,
Oh,
"Yeah, that was so long ago." And it was just it's amazing to know that somebody remembers you from that long ago, especially someone who now has so much going on in their life that they're working on. So it was amazing to see her. Um, and even just how much she's changed. Kim was Sage was there too. She's taking classes with Cindy when I did, and it was amazing to see just even how much she has just changed. Not even I don't want to say persona wise, but just in like her overall demeanor and like her aesthetic, everything has just changed. She's just really laid back, and I mean still the beautiful soul that she's always been. So it was great to run into her, and just it was, I think, a good time was had by all. I don't know, even next year I'm going to go back, but I don't know that I will be able to do like the whole weekend. That would be a lot.
we had talked
That's a
about it.
lot
Yeah. Um,
for me
ASPS.
anyway, because I get exhausted
Yeah.
quickly energetically. So
ASPS was talking about going down this weekend. We were going to think about renting a cabin right outside. But there's so much going on. We chose not to this year. But, I may voyage back there next year. We got, friends from all over our state that go there,
yes,
participate and
yes.
take part. Steve Dills.
Yeah, I
Uh,
didn't get to, I actually mentioned that on the way back. I said Steve was there Friday, but I did not get the chance to see him yesterday. The guys from Paranormal Theory, which I got to see them back in January at
mhm,
Hanover Paracon. He like Ryan was there. I
mhm.
saw him like across the room. Like this thing is so big. I saw him across the room not long after I got there, and I never found him again
Right.
in 6 hours. So I had to say hello to him. Shirley Ann Spencer was there, who love her dearly, and I could never find her.
Isn't that crazy when that happens too?
Yeah,
You're like, holy crap, there's that many people here. And, they're all over the place, but they're trying to talk to each other. They're trying to get other things going. And,
yeah. You're trying to see everything, but talk to everybody. And it's like I
mhm,
felt like I got to see everybody for like a maybe less 5 minute conversation, and then I was on to the next. Just running around like a crazy person. But it was really good. I got the cool. My favorite thing two of my favorite things. I did pick up some candles from our friend Tana with Haunted Nights. I just love her candles. I
okay.
was able to catch up and get with her and get some candles, but there was a girl there, and I'll have to share her information next time because I haven't even unpacked my stuff that I got from there. But she was doing flannel shirts, and
Oh,
she was doing like she'll put like the back patchwork on there.
yeah.
And she had a bunch of stuff, but she was selling them like crazy. I got one with a patch of Captain Spaulding.
Sweet.
Yes, I was like, oh my god, I have to
Score.
have it. I have to have it.
You know what? One night we're going to have to just dress up. We're just going
Yeah,
to
when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, I have to have." Well, I wanted. I said, "Do you have a Lost Boys one?" And she's like, "I
right.
sell out of that one first." I said, "Do you have
Yeah.
one of the craft?" She said, "That's the second one I sell out the most." And I said, "Okay." So I'm like going through, and I was like, "Oh my god,
I want
that's
Sammy
the
Kerr
one!"
from, yeah, Sammy Kerr from Trick or treat. I'm gonna get one of those. That would be
Ooh,
cool.
yeah. So I have
Yeah.
to give you her because like she has a website and Facebook, and she said you just have to tell her what color flannel you want and what you want, and she will custom make it.
I mean, come on. We already know what colors I would pick. I mean, it's
Oh
pretty.
yeah, oh yeah. Well, and
It's
that's
right
funny because that's
there.
the colors of my flannel. My flannel are red and black that have the Captain Spaulding on the back. So it was
There
awesome.
you go. Oh, even Lois said I got 2 candles and a
Yeah,
bunch of.
Tana's candles. I'm gonna have to like go on our rotation and just share some of these because Tana's candles smell amazing.
And that's something you guys, when we lost control of the group page 3 years ago, we lost the ability to put that. We can still do it on the RNN,
Yes.
but it used to be more personal. And
Yeah.
who knows? Things may change up a little bit. We'll see. Everything's changing. Everything's in a changeable mode right now. So,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We got a heck of a show ready for tonight.
Yay.
Yeah, we do not have the doctor. The doctor does not have signal.
The doctor is on
Yeah.
vacation.
Yeah, he took off in the TARDIS and said, "Y'all can handle this yourself." Very good, then.
Okay. Okay. We got this.
Yeah, so yeah, I was like, not a problem. I got everything that I've got set up, and we get some really cool information and some stuff for everybody to think about tonight. Tonight, yes, we are talking about the Tukaska event, which took place in Siberia. But the interesting part is the relativity to the situations. So we're going to talk all about that. We're going to poke in and poke out and see what's going on there. And, again, we want to definitely send our prayers to all of the families of the idols and icons that, we lost in the last 2 weeks. It's been hard. All of you are super fans. We know it was like losing a father, a
I
grandfather.
mean, I'm representing today, so
Right. See, and that's the way it should be. It was hard because this was a hit for Gen X. It was a
Yeah.
huge hit for us.
Yeah.
But sometimes, even Oz said sometimes the abnormal is the normal. So pay
Well,
attention.
and honestly, when after Ozzy, everybody was like, "All right, who's the third?" Who's the third one coming? Like everybody knew there was going to be a third. Who knew there was going to be a fourth? So.
Yeah, well, I think it may be more than that, but right now,
Oh
unfortunately,
yeah, there's a lot. I don't want to say in the works because that sounds horrible. There's some other people not doing well right now.
Yeah,
of our
exactly.
generation. So.
Unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. But tonight we start out with something spectacular, something new. So let's get the show on the road, shall we? Let me begin, if I may. If I may. A gentleman attempting to develop inventions he could patent and market. He conducted a range of experiments with Ford mechanical accelerators, generators, electrical discharge tubes, and early X-ray machines and images. He also built a wireless controlled boat, one of the first ever exhibited. This gentleman, of course, was Nikola Tesla, who became well known as an inventor and demonstrated his achievements to celebrate and wealthy patrons at his lab. And he was noted for his showmanship at public lectures, which I'm actually surprised, to be honest with you. But it's cool to hear. Throughout the 1890s, Tesla pursued his ideas for wireless lightning and worldwide wireless electric power distribution in his high voltage, high frequency power experiments in New York and Colorado Springs in 1893. He made pronouncements on the possibilities of wireless communication with his devices. Tesla also tried to put these ideas to practical use in his unfinished Wardenclyffe Tower project. An intercontinental wireless communication and power transmitter but ran out of funding before he could complete the unit. Now, why am I talking about Nikola Tesla tonight? Well, it's going to be interesting how we can connect the lines, if you will. What happened here, what happened there, and other things that could be. But this is something that I found we really should connect with because it takes out all the other variables and goes, the science is there, the possibility. After Wycliffe, Tesla experimented with a series of inventions in the 1910s through the 1920s. With varying degrees of success, having spent most of his money, Tesla lived in a series of New York hotels, leaving behind unpaid bills. I mean, how many of us have done that, right? He died in New York City in January 1943. Tesla's work fell into relative obscurity following his death until the 1960s, when General Conference on Weights and Measures named the International System of Units measurements of magnetic flux density the Tesla in his honor. There has been a resurgence, reconnection in popularity and popular interest in Tesla since the 1990s. Times included Tesla and their 100 most significant figures in history. Now, this is interesting because there's several things that we did not know that I came across. First, I thought from what I was reading and understanding about Tesla, he didn't talk. I didn't think he was a talker. I knew he had to do some.
Right. But you thought he was more like a man just behind the books.
Right, exactly.
And the documentation that he never really was a presenter of his findings, etc.
Good terminology. Yes. Let me catch up with some of y'all. Now, we may not get to your comments, and we'll make sure I'll check in on over here. We just are growing up, y'all sad but true. This is true.
It's
just, yeah. Just listen to Tesla, Edison's Medicine. Great album.
a great album.
Hey, Robert. Hello from the bunker in Bonnie. I bet you bunkled down right now. Hi, Robert. Keith. Brother Keith speaks in and says, some people think his machine is what actually happened to Tesla. We're going to get very good. Said he overshot his target, leading to the air explosion. Others think it was concealed, but a comet exploded in the air. Mm-hmm. Man was a genius, absolutely. And of course, Angel is saying, Nikki's saying hello to Michelle. That is a good point. A lot of people do talk about it, and that's why I started with the man next door right here, Nikola Tesla, because there is a lot of connections. Why is there a connection, though? And here's the situation. In the 1920s and the early 1930s, there was an open experiment. Oh, you're fine, brother. There was an open experiment on which the CIA was working with Tesla. He activated the tower, and he actually, it is proven, pretty much documented at time period, connecting time to time, he did hit a French town.
Oh, wow.
He did obliviate the town. This was, I think it was 300 to 400 people that were in this town. And when he initiated it, there was really no control of this thing at this point. He was doing more testing as, you know, the Tuskegee. We'll talk about that in a minute. But he was getting a better control. But
yeah, so basically with that, he was trying to hit a mark and he hit the wrong mark. Gotcha. Okay.
Yes, it completely hit the wrong mark. He wasn't sure if this thing was going to work. He took under his own possibility that could the Tuskegee been his fault? Now, here's another part. This is another one, a part of Nikola's downfall. He was a humanitarian, and the fact that he injured people really got into his psyche. It really mentally messed him up. It really
I think
did.
that would mess up anybody who, especially when they know they did not intentionally do it. You know,
Right.
I,
And
don't, I
after,
just think that just would feed on the humanity of any person's soul a little bit.
yes. And after losing the support of the Rockefellers uh,
Hmm.
and his other big money, and them not wanting to back him up was interesting. Now, here's another interesting part. I see Robert's here. We're going to talk about this real quick because we didn't put the lines together. And why didn't we? Why didn't this happen? Well, let me read this. Didn't the government end up taking almost all of his research? Yes. 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 They're going to say no. Of course they are. They're going to say it got lost.
Uh,
But you know, it's funny how they all ended up in Elon Musk's hands. Proven fact. Proven fact. Elon Musk has all of Tesla's information, all 7 crates. You tell me how that was possible. Anyway, we're
well,
not.
the only other thing I can think of is it was either they went and got it, or they were paying him in some fashion to begin with.
Conspiracies, aren't we? And why are we doing it? Because at this time and age, here we are, we're the early 1900s. This is what we're working with. And I love this factor because we're getting ready to jump into the Tuskegee, and we're going to have a huge conversation about it. But there's something I want to talk to you all about, something really quick that has to do with Tesla. Now, my brother and I, Robert, had an amazing conversation the other day and put 2 and 2 together when we were sitting there. Why did this not happen? Let me read what he said here. Office of Strategic Services, as it was known then. Correct. Robert also said, and Edison him hated each other. Oh, absolutely. We're actually gonna get into Tesla and another conspiracy factor that has to do with Edison and Bell, but that's gonna be down the road. Yeah, we're gonna bring that to the light too, because we're gonna take our time from the early 1900s into the 20s into the 30s. We're giving you everything on this series. So this is probably going to be the last series we do, and then we're going to pick up some more interviews, and then this is going to be ongoing. So you look out for it. It's just like when we work with other people that commonly come to our show. It's a series. And Robert goes, money, 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 money. He's right. Heidi said, wow, thought someone famous got some, but I don't know. It was Elon. Yes, it was Elon Musk. He was the one who received all the information and all of the research.
Huh.
Yeah.
It even makes you wonder more who exactly he's tied in with.
Well, that's the thing about this show. We're going to spring ahead. We're going to fall behind. You're going to see this all over the place because as we go through this series, we're also making what? It's a line theory.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. We're connecting dots. Now, speaking of that, before we keep going into, we get into the Tunguska. For those who know Tesla and did some good research and you have a good founding of it, I'm going to ask you one question. If the fact was he was doing all this work and he was looking for someone to back him up and he was, hey, hello, and he was looking for support, there was one man he could have gone to. Thank you, Renee. But this is something that me and Robert talked about. Howard Hughes.
I didn't even think about that.
How many? See, that's where me and Kenny went, hey, wait a second, where's the line? Where's the line? Because why didn't Howard Hughes get involved with Tesla? Because he was looking for all the stuff that Tesla was doing. He wanted to increase his power on his motors. He was working on technology. He was hiring people. And I'm going to use Robert's terminology. Robert said, A, he was a brilliant man because he had other people working for him. He went out and he got those scientists. He got those researchers to work for him. But he was a great technical guy.
Right.
But his
I mean,
brilliance.
that's the sign of any great leader. And I mean, I'm talking today, even as a manager of a small department, is if you hire the right people who know the right things, you don't have to know everything
Right.
and manage them appropriately.
Now, why not go after one of the greatest minds of that time?
Right.
Okay, now I'm going to spin this a little bit more. How come Howard Hughes did not go after Alexander Graham Bell? Why did he not go after Tesla?
Right.
And why did he not go after Edison? And this is intriguing. It intrigues me. It really does. Because now we know that all four of these men are the men responsible for the paranormal equipment and research that we do today. I hate to tell you, that's your forefathers of technology right there.
Right.
So it's intriguing to me how they never connected. Can you imagine if Howard Hughes and Nikola Tesla had gotten together? This world would be a different place. Science. Dun dun dun.
So you just made me like I just had to check it. Like so immediately I just went to Google and like just to see what it would say. And it said Howard Hughes did not pursue Tesla for several reasons. One significant factor was the legal and strategic challenges he faced in his business career, particularly with the aviation industry, which he had tumultuous history with. Additionally, Hughes' focus was primarily on aviation, and he was a prominent figure in the aerospace sector, which may have limited his interest in other ventures like Tesla. But I have to say, I would disagree with that. I mean, maybe you would even think then that aviation would egg him on a little bit. So
it would be a little bit different, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I look at it.
Huh.
We would be in a different state of mind and position right now if they had worked together.
I think so too.
It'd be really interesting. Let me read up and catch up on some of these. Heidi drops in. It says, love this. I'm in Colorado, and when looking into the courts here and found out Tesla came here for the courts, I was intrigued and hooked. There you go.
Ooh.
There it is. Hey, Suzu. Susan says Tesla was good. Was the good guy. They screwed him over. He died penniless. I would agree. Even though here's the interesting part before I move in to the other stuff. And this is where we're going to talk more about Tesla, but I have to say this. It seems like he died penniless, but all the people supported him. That's how he lived, was in this hotel that some think the hotel was designed after the Tesla Tower. It's intriguing. And we're going to talk more about that later, but he was financially food and sheltered in this hotel. And his daughter, was right there. So it really is interesting. And, how often did the government come? Because we know that Einstein had many conversations with Tesla, which is really interesting. And that's going to be in the whole Tesla story, you guys. We got to keep going because it's not really about Tesla. It's just a side note.
All right, keep going.
Right. Nikki says, Musk with Tesla info. Yeah. Why isn't he already out in space? Long haul flights. Mm-hmm. My first thought, not intended to be a yuck comment. Oh, no, you're fine. Tesla had so much info that is already being used, but it's not public yet. Agreed, because the military and the government is always 40 to 50 years ahead of the population. Where do you think the population gets its technology? From the military and the government. Oh, we're done with that. We moved on. Here, now it's good for the public, and let's see where it goes. Totally agree. And Nikki says control.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Control and like she said, with not many in the public, not everything the public knows. Well, that's by design. That's by design. And also, if you think about, I guess back then I don't know if they did patents and things like that, but there could be family claims to some of the stuff that he put out there that could cost the people money.
That's funny that you say that. And we're going to get into Tesla even more.
Backing on up. Let's go.
Yep. Honest, I will tell you this.
I mean, this is just stuff that, like this, I'm so glad that I suggested to you. I'm like, hey, I don't really know all these theories. Can we go through them? Like, because this is just
Hey, Vet. Oh, absolutely. And I'm glad you did because it gave me a direction to release. And I've been needing that and to talk about the stuff, that's really cool out there that not a lot of people do. And we're doing it in chronological order, which is really cool. Let's get into this and let's talk to you guys. Let's talk about this. The Tunguska event was a massive explosion that occurred near the Patakamaya. I hope I just killed that one. Tunguska River in Siberia in June 30th, 1908. It's believed to have been caused by an this is airburst of a meteor or a comet fragment, estimated to be around 50 to 60 meters in diameter. As it entered Earth's atmosphere, the explosion, which released energy equivalent to thousands of atomic bombs, flattened an estimated, get this, you guys, estimated 80 million trees over an area of 830 square miles. Holy crap.
I mean, that's
Oh, it's going to get a lot more interesting. I promise you. With that, it's 2,150 square kilometers. Despite the enormous impact, here it is, no impact crater was found, suggesting that the object exploded in the air. Okay, so here we are. We're talking about this. We're getting you guys involved, which is what we want to do. Government took his patents. They did. Yes. And I was going to say that. So thank you, Nikki. So here we are. We have an impact that was felt around the world. Literally, this thing was felt around the world. But of course, I mean, if you have something that's going to be 830 square miles of destruction, come on, they're throwing. But the ironic part is, how come no crater? Now, Keith goes, that's a huge blast radius. It's huge.
well. My other question is, and like I'm going to tell our listeners, like, how you have we kind of had. I don't research a whole lot once he tells me what we're talking about because I'm trying to like learn as I go, and like so I've researched a little bit. But here's my question on this: was there nothing else? Like you said, heard across, but were there no tsunamis from it? Was there anything else like that?
Interesting point. Very good point. Let's get into a little bit of that. Okay, hold on. See, Robert, we are in the space with Solar Warden and the Montauk project, 20 and back. See, that's way ahead of us. And that's when we're going to get to Rebecca, hopefully. But yes, absolutely. That's right here in the 2000s, the 21st century. When we get here, that's going to definitely get Rebecca Rose. Hopefully we can get her on and talk to her because we are going to bring guests that are connected to some of these.
This is cool.
Hi, I have some friends. So this would be really cool. They have already agreed to go, whoa, you're going to talk about it? Oh, yeah. So our good friend Chris Latimer will be returning. When we get to so that's going to be really cool. Just give him a mad props out there. Check out the Montauk Boys. Great book. New movie coming out too. Explains everything.
Did the new version of his book just come out too? Yeah,
it did. Yep, it did. So mad props right there. And I don't have to go shameless plug because we do plug it. Cha-ching. Nikki, glad to have the correct number because I thought it was 1,000. Thank you. You're absolutely welcome. Absolutely welcome. So let's get into this now. Cause I've put together a little do here for everybody, and we're going to do this. Cause the prevailing theory is that a stony asteroid or a comet fragment traveling at a high speed entering Earth's atmosphere and exploded in midair due to atmospheric pressure. Okay, now that is good possibility, and I'm going to say why. I don't know if you remember this, Robert. I don't know if you remember this. A rebuttal to a question. Okay, hold on. But I do believe it was 1987 or 88 that we saw that huge comet fly across the sky. Mm-hmm. And it was on a Friday night because we were at a football game. Me, Kenny, and his girlfriend at the time were at a Godwin game. and we watched this thing go right on. I think Mary was with us. It was huge, had a long tail, and it just flew across. It looked like an airplane. How many people saw this? Thousands and thousands and thousands of people saw that comet, but there was no impact because it literally burnt because at the angle that it was in the atmosphere. Okay, that's a potential factor right there. Now, when we talk about there, we're talking about potential of 0 point energy, which is the factor of endpoint at the time of situation. If this thing did not, and I say thing, I'm using that right now. If this thing did not do an impact on physical, and it did explode, if you will, there was some kind of release of energy above the ground, there still should have been a crater. Still should have
That
been
one
a
because it still should have. Yes, there should have been
now,
some support. Yes.
yeah, because let's go and let's use some science. If you take a vacuum cleaner and you go out in your backyard and you get a bunch of loose dirt and you hit it just one time, what happens? It makes a crater.
Right.
It'll make a crater in that dirt.
Yeah. If
Go ahead.
well, just because you said it was felt around the world, like it was felt, so you would assume. I'm just making an assumption here. That
Mhm.
sounds like something hit the ground and it rumbled through. However, did did people actually feel it or did they hear it? And it was just such an extent that it felt like it was the earth moving.
Exactly. Because
Okay.
now we're talking the early 1900s. Could they? And I'm not saying they weren't intelligent, but maybe they mistaked the feeling for the shock wave
Right. For the sound and the yeah.
because a lot of people claim that there was an earthquake at the same time. Well, I mean, come on, we know right there that's part of it, but they said they felt it. So this thing now, I'm going to answer one of your questions real quick. No, there was no tsunamis.
See, that just makes like to me if there's an earth something with water should have occurred. Just
Or atmospheric, right?
right.
Especially if it was like a 20 megaton bomb.
Right.
I mean, they're saying this thing was 5 times the worse than the Hiroshima. So, hello, that has to be a lot of focal point energy.
right.
When this energy hits, it's going to do something. And even, oh, you know what? I want to do some research now. I want, Rhonda, if you want to check it out, can you see if Hiroshima, Nagasaki, is there a crater left? Real quick while we do that, I'll catch up on chat. Waves of energy. Agreed. You guys, and the reason, let me go ahead. I'll do this for you. See how I can see this. I'll bring
Huh.
things about.
There is no crater left from the atomic bombing of Hiroshima. The atomic bomb, known as Little Boy, was dropped at a height of 580 meters and it did not create a crater. Instead, the blast caused extensive damage primarily through fire and radiation rather than physical cratering.
Huh. Now
So
there's a
there was no fire with was there fire with this one?
okay. That's why I got you to read it. That's exactly why I got you to read it. Nikki says waves. Let me catch up here. Even a bomb on the ground big would leave a huge crater. Yes. Keith, Otisburg. I don't think it was near the ocean. No, it was not near the
It
ocean.
was not, but you still would have thought if it was felt from one side of the world to the other, it crossed the water somewhere.
Okay, now this is an interesting point. What if Tesla's machine actually hit the comet? Now, that's another good point.
That's a good point.
That's a good one. Now, hold on. Before we go any further, let's go back and look at what you just said. Because that was a good point, Rhonda, and I'm glad you said it. I'm glad we went back to look.
Well,
check this out. Let me bring this back up. Okay. So that's what it looks like. That's the way it is right now. So see how Tunguska is?
Yeah.
The one to the right is not Tunguska. Now that's the other thing that drives me crazy. They're trying to claim that the one on the right is Tunguska. It's not. It's another location altogether. There's nothing representing Tunguska except for that open field that's on the
I was
left.
gonna say, what is that open field though? Was that ever part of something?
Yeah, that's where the blast took. That's the center point of the blast, was just that field.
Okay.
But for some reason, they're trying to get you to believe that that circle right there on the right side was the effects. It was not. It was not and is not. Keith saying hockey and hockey. Everybody saying hello. Mr. Brooks, hello and
Hey,
welcome
Mike.
to Tunguska is an isolated inland area. Yes, it is. Absolutely. So let me get here and I'm going to bring this back up because I'm going to show you something else. I'm pretty sure I've got it. Hopefully I did not lose this one.
See, that's the thing. Like those pictures where AI is gonna mess us up in the future.
Yeah, and luckily
People can create whatever they want to.
I tried to avoid all the AI, and there's only that one, and that one picture is actually taken. It's not an AI, but it's of another location, not even Siberia.
Oh shit. Okay.
This is what it looked like right here,
right after.
right after.
Well,
This
it
is
does
when
look
the
like
Soviet Union got there.
Well,
Now this
it's
is Russia.
Siberia, so it's what I'm seeing that looks so desolate because of the cold weather, or is that from fire?
Another good question. Another good question. How do we know? We don't know. But it's showing scarred. So okay, this is charred. From what they said, this is the charred location. We also got to remember they did said 830 miles and that radius. So for it to land, for it to explode in above air, now we know that the two did not leave craters. Now, it's a meteor. I don't think it's going to do the same thing as an atom bomb. So that's what's intriguing the hell out of me. That's what's got me diving about all this. I'm going, what? I don't.
830 square miles, right?
Right.
How wide? You know what I mean? What was the length and width of the? You know what I mean? So did it look like something went?
Well,
like
let's
straight across, or was it just like in a big? Like was it all in a big circle? What did it look like?
Well, let's find out. Location and date. The event occurred in remote area of Siberia near the, I'm not going to say this right, Podkamaya Tuguskan River on June 30th, 1908. The impact. The explosion released an estimated, get this, you guys, 5 to 15 megatons of energy, equivalent to 1,000 of Hiroshima-sized atomic bombs. Flattening trees, causing widespread devastation. Yeah, my notes are here. Next one is the crater. The absence of significant impact crater suggests that the object exploded in the atmosphere rather than hitting the ground directly. And that's what Keats was saying and a few others. Now, there's some conspiracy theories that are going to come out of this as well. Now, eyewitness accounts. Survivors, and this is interesting, survivors of the event reported a bright flash of light, intense heat, and a powerful shockwave and loud noises that were felt hundreds of miles away. But of course, 100 miles away, and then it was felt around the world after the fact. Absolutely. What was the long-term events? The events caused a period of glowing night skies and unusual atmospheric phenomenon across parts of Europe and Asia for years. What?
The glowing skies.
Yep, we're going to come back to that. Yeah.
Okay.
Significance. The Tunguska event is the largest recorded impact event in modern history, and it serves as a reminder of the potential threat posed by asteroids and comets. Okay, now, We could say that. I mean, logically, that's what it says, right? That's what everything seems to be. Now, for those of us that are in the conspiracy community, there's some other things. Now, I'm going to bring some light to this situation. Yes, I think whatever it was did explode above. It had to have. Scientifically speaking, for it to cause the damage it did have to be a certain height off the ground, right? What they're not talking about, and what they very rarely talk about, some of you may go, that's bullshit. Some of you go, I've heard about this. I've been talking about this for years, ever since I came across it in a television show called In Search Of. You can go ahead and research this. I learned that back in the 1970s, I read the fact and came across and did some research. I don't know. I've been in this crap ever since I was little, you guys, so sorry. But there is supposedly 4 points of EDF system. Okay, there was pre-existing humans. Now, we're not going to go that far. We're not going to get into that conspiracy about humanoids and all that, but I'm using that as a terminology. We're talking earlier than 1320 BC. Okay, there are 4 points around the world. One of them just happens to be in Siberia. Interesting. These are what they call them Earth Defense Systems, EDF, Earth Defense Factors. I think that's F. Nikki, I think is it a factor? I know we were talking about it one night. So these things come out of the ground, Rhonda, and they look like a bubble. I mean, it looks like a bubble, and it just comes out of the ground, but it has a round cylinder projection off the side. And this is where, when you were talking about, years in the skies, if this thing did that, remember we were talking about the effects of the environment?
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. We got atmospheric environment. What if this particular so-called weapon was fired at something else and not necessarily a meteor? And see, this is what I feel may have taken place even with Roswell. Me personally, I don't think these flying saucers just fell out of the sky. I don't think they hit each other. Something had to hit these air vessels, these UAPs, these UFOs, however you want to call it, to make it happen what happened. And I think there's technology on this planet that is not human. That's correct. And I use humanoid. And I can't say alien, because that means they existed prior to us being here, which means they're not alien. They're native. So why do we keep saying alien? Watch your tones. Watch your terminology. It's all in the wording. So could it have been something else? Could science prove now that life was here way before us by using this, finding this technology? Here's the other part about this. When scientists try to get too close to it, like, I think I want to get the wording, and I'm going to pull this out, you guys, and explain to you. I'm going to come back to you, Kate, don't worry. But there's so much radiation that there was people who got radiation sickness when they were just like miles from this point. Now, I'm not talking Tuskegee. I'm talking this location of what I was referring to. Tuskegee had radiation too, high levels of radiation. And in fact, is anybody putting two and two together here? Does anybody remember about 4 to 6 hikers that suddenly went missing, and then they found them dead on the side of the mountain? Okay, we're going to play with that down the road. We're coming back to Tuskegee because it here is in Siberia. Both things took place here. Very interesting to me. Interesting. So there's a lot of play of what could be, what could happen. Some people say it was a flying saucer. Some people actually are saying that it was an actual attack on the Earth. That's one of their theories. Something launched an attack on us, and this was the repercussions of whatever weapon it was.
That actually makes sense, because that's one question I had, and Keith hit it just a little bit. I was like, where are the particles? Where are the fragments? Where are the pieces of debris? Where is all of that? And then as you were talking, I was like, well, it would have to, like, for it to explode any other way than something else exploded it would have had to hit us. It would have had to hit the Earth. So then you'd have your crater. So
Exactly. Now, do you see why I had you read? To
yeah,
see
and then I was also thinking about the glowing lights in the sky for years after that. Radiation makes a good point, but then it's also, my first thought was reflecting light off of something that's lingering.
reflective light. What about reflective elements
Right.
in the air?
True.
You know, what if they're coming back to see if someone, some, yeah, and go in there, if some foreign living bodies came back to see what the effects were of this. Now, to add to this, we're going to come back. Muamua is back in our universe again. It's come back. For those who do not know what a Muamua is, it is a foreign object that went crazy speeding through our galaxy last year. Now, that's going to be on a trajectory. That would have been 100,000 of years before it returned. And here it is again. It's back in our solar system. Fucking intriguing to me.
Yeah,
So,
that is intriguing.
right. So,
Is it on a trajectory that's just very short, or is it being sent back?
all right, well, that's the other question I have. Now, if that's the case, what if something like a Muamua came through and hit the planet too? But wouldn't it cause, like, you guys, bear with me, and I want to hear from you because I'm going to read y'all's comment in just a minute. But if it hit the atmosphere and it was that large, okay, really, if it was that large, don't you think it would have caused more damage? If it made it through our atmosphere, even at an angle, look at the craters that have been left here already by huge, meteorites. So if this thing did that much damage, how come it didn't cause more atmospheric damage? This is another good point I've been wondering. And the lights and you were talking about, could it be the elements? Could something have been blown up into the sky, rather, not blown up, but blown up in the sky?
Right.
You're right. So particles from the comet stayed in the atmosphere. Makes sense. It does kind of make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does.
That had been on my mind when he said that. I was like, oh yeah, I get it.
Could be. And then maybe it's still catching fire. Maybe it's radioactive. Maybe it's something else other than radioactivity, because fusion and fission, that's your two primaries, fission and fusion. What if that's that? What if it's dark matter? We don't know the effects of dark matter. Da, 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 da. It leaves the conspiracy wide open on what the possibilities are. But that's interesting because that's why I pulled this out of our files. This is Clockwork 2, because this file is one of the most unusual events that took place, because it should have been more damage. If it was something else, we don't know. And why didn't it? Robert, late 80s, 90s, they went out to the center and found a dead zone. Yes, there is a dead zone. But they had to go through a range of electromagnetic fields first. So that's the other part. Thank you, Robert. Got me clicking on. So they have a range of radioactivity. Then there's rings of electromagnetic forces. And then they get to the center. Now, I wish I could do it like that. It's not going to let me do it. Is it? No. Damn. I was going to say, nope, it's just going to give me projection. I don't think is it? Yep, not going to do it. I was hoping I can use the pointer. I'm going to figure that out. Get the pointer.
There's got to be a way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can see, I feel like that maybe that round point might have been the direct point of contact. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. And then blew out from there. But I could be wrong, because there's a bunch of little circles all over the place. And if there's a bunch of little circles, why are there a bunch of little circles? Intriguing. So maybe it did break apart and come down and hit the ground. But wouldn't they be craters instead of circles and just marks on the ground? Thank you, Nikki. We appreciate that. Think about this. It's taking place in the last 10 years, more specifically the last 5 years. It's becoming hardcore in the last 2 years. Agreed. And definitely talk about Muamua. Keith says, look at the ancient advanced technology it took to build all of the megalithic structures around the world. We've been wiped out and restored or restarted, well, restored too, many times in the past, in my opinion. Now, you can base that on your opinion, but we can base that on fact, because there's places all over the planet that have radioactivity isotopes that should have not happened. And the only way those isotopes may have happened is by a nuclear explosion. Dun dun dun. So we have screwed ourselves several times. I think we're tired of screwing ourselves, but we're not going to go there. You guys don't think about right now. I'm just saying. Okay. Michael, Day to Love Pass. Yes, absolutely. That's our hiker people. That's right. Oh, you're talking on the Russian mountain. Yes. There you go. And let's see here. He says scientists have found natural nuclear reactors from millions of years ago. Shouldn't have been able to happen, but yet there's evidence of it. There is, absolutely. See, this is why we do the show, you guys. We're all talking. We're finding some shit out tonight. Nikki, Dakota Pass, great story to talk about. There's a woman who researched it hardcore. You should see if you can get her on the interview to From Wonderful. Not a bad idea, Nikki.
That's a really good idea.
When we get there, we will definitely do that. Absolutely. Nikki goes, quantum issues to cause it? Yes. That was where I was going to end this show with. So, Robert, it would have been an Eli event. Nikki says, yep. And Heidi says, thank you. Now, I'm going to end this with that exactly what was just said, quantum. Let's look at what's happening now. Now, all these people want to find a reasonable excuse for it to happen. How many of you have been hearing about the rings around the world? They look like smoke rings just coming out of nowhere. And so many people are saying they're coming from fireworks, or this is a forest fire, or this is a house fire. And they give examples, and yes, they kind of look like it, but it's not that. They don't even have ashes. Some of these rings have something coming off of them, okay? There's other reports of unusual bright lights in the sky, and I'm not talking UAPs, and I'm not talking about the orbs. In fact, we're going to talk about the orbs down the road, because that's when Operation Blue Book comes to mind. Dun, 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 dun. We got a long time to go. Anyway, so what if it was a gate? What if it was universal energy? What if it was a black hole? The possibility is endless, but that's why we do this. We're talking. We're all discussing it. We can gather our own information, but it's what you believe. It's all based on opinion, but just look at the facts. Base it on facts. Base everything we talk about on fact and challenge us. It's okay. It's what it's all about. Hey, Chris Fox Rodin has made it in the house.
Chris.
Whoa, sorry about that. Let me grab that up there, right there, so everybody sees. Sorry, I was late. You're not late. You're good. Robert says, remember the nukes? They always have to be man-made. It's just splitting atoms, y'all. Yeah. Fusion and fission, baby. And pressure. Touche. Pressure. What elements here that we may not know? What elements came from space that may have reacted against the Earth's oxygen? Do we think about that one?
Yeah, what elements haven't we found yet?
Right? Yeah, there's got to be other elements out there in the universe, and we know that for a fact.
Well, look at there's so much of the ocean unexplored. You have to wonder what's down there that we don't know about.
Exactly. Nikki says, wait, around the Earth? Yep. And Ashley Herden is here from the realm. What? So, y'all, I wanted to spend this time with you guys and talk to you, Rhonda, about this, because this is the interesting things. How you like that? I learned something new. Let's put 2 and 2 together. So this is the tower, and that right there, of course, is Tunguska. Now, it's intriguing. That's why I wanted to start this out. The largest possibility is it was Tesla, in my opinion. Because the man was on target. And You know, even Einstein said he knew that he had, in not so many words, effed up when he found out what they were really going to do with his equation. Maybe Tesla felt the same way, you guys. Maybe Tesla found out, maybe the military found out and said, oh, yeah, we're going to take this and turn it into militarized. We're going to militarize it. Yeah, well, we're screwed. That's what they do every time.
Right.
You know, we don't know. Could this have been any amount of any of the possibilities? Robert, Rhonda, are you having a night? You keep rubbing
I
your.
was outside a lot today, and I sweated and I sweated, and I got so much sweat in my eyes that they are on fire.
Ooh, she's
Like if
on
you were up
fire.
close, they are like red. They are like burning from that much salt getting in my eyes today.
Yeah, good lord, good lord. All right, Keith is. We're gonna hang it up with this one. Keith says uranium is from asteroids that have impacted, and it's used for spark plugs and electronics. Oh yeah, that's very true. That's absolutely true. Um, Kenny or Robert, Keith's in automotive. I'm in automotive, and these are known things.
Oh,
It's intriguing to me the stuff that we could have, touched on that we don't. There's so much out here in our world that it intrigues me. If it wasn't for Edison, Tesla, Alexander Graham Bell, Howard Hughes, we probably wouldn't even know shit about what we thought about the paranormal, spiritual, and supernatural.
really?
So, and you know what? I'm going to end this on this one. The majority of your household items, guess what? They're paranormal research equipment back in the day. That's how they came about. Your telephone. Remember your hardline telephones? That was part of paranormal equipment. Your cell phones, Tesla technology. Televisions, paranormal experiment, paranormal equipment. Fact. ACDC, paranormal experience in testing and research. Your lamppost outside, guess what? Paranormal experience, paranormal equipment. It's interesting. Just think about that. Something to think about. Get ready. Now, conspiracy. Next Sunday, where we're going to have number 4. This will be the last till we get our interview and get our interviews in. Then we'll return back to it. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You're going to wait till tomorrow. But it's going to be really interesting. I want to say thank you, Rhonda, for making it out because I know you had a long weekend.
Oh, absolutely.
All of you, thank you for putting in your input and hanging out with us, discussing, talking, and ask questions. That's what this show's all about. It's about you and it's about us. It's about human beings trying to survive in a screwed up universe that we're in right now. How do we affect the universe and how does it affect us? Let me read this. Keith says military did take his info and use it. That's why we have the tech we have today. 100% agree. Nikki says, fun fact, government lies to subcontractors as to they expect to do the intentions and inventions and in science. There's actually some another episode that we're going to talk down the road just about that. Actually, how the flying saucers are just like buses and we're just a stop in the universal track highway. It's really interesting how the humans actually are making spacecraft for aliens. Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me.
I know folks who were outright lied by them. Oh, yeah, so do I. Great show. Thank you, Keith. Nikki, JFK. JFK, yeah, that's jumping ahead. But I'm going to say something about JFK because somebody brought it up, and I can't believe, Robert, you had to jump that in there. Loved hearing the info. Thank you, ma'am. Lincoln, stop going and try to jump things, man. Come on. We got
One step at a time.
That's right. And actually,
I'm a beginner over here.
Lincoln is already behind us, but I can guarantee you in one of the episodes, it's going to fall back. These episodes are going to bounce back and forth in the episode. So I'm trying to keep it where the evidence began so we have a starting point.
Yeah, probably somewhere like a little way in, we need to just like do a quick tie, like a show that just like ties the ones we've got through up together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it'll help people out there too get on the timeline factor. DARPA, just saying. Yeah, DARPA. DARPA's not your friend. That girl, thank you from myself and Kev. Absolutely, thank
We
y'all.
appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Uh, Robert says, the Cooper, DB Cooper.
DB Hooper. Ooh,
Dude, that's
that's a huge one right there.
you're getting all jumpy, dude. We're gonna get okay, but there is something I'm gonna bring up of Jeff JFK on this, and I'll end the show on this one because we are going to get to JFK because there is a lot of conspiracies with JFK, and I'm not
Wow.
talking about his assassination either. There's stuff that you guys don't know. So I'm gonna drop the bomb on one thing that some of you might, some of you may not. The one thing that JFK said 1 week prior to his assassination, I am going to find, and how did he put it? I'm going to find those who are responsible, who are trying to enslave the men, women, and children of the United States. That was a verbal comment he made 1 week before he was assassinated. Now, if that don't get your mouth wet for something else, I don't know what will. But on that note, thank you guys so much for hanging with us. Stay tuned. We got some great shows throughout the week. We got a new show coming. Oh, yes. Returning. We're so thankful for this. Thankful for all of you. I appreciate you hanging with us and staying with us and getting us out there. And I appreciate everybody. If you tune in and you're watching us after this live, thank you. You're
Yep.
appreciated. Seriously appreciated. So, from all of us to you, may virtue be yours.
Have a great week and do good things.
I like that. It's about time we do some good things. Yeah. Give a smile, give a hug, give a shake. Be patient.
Be patient.
Be patient. We'll see you guys on the other side.
Bye.